Beartown Radio.
Good evening, you growly listeners of Congleton. Welcome to the box of stuff. And before we get underway, I must ask Alex, do you ever feel like time travel at all?
If I had the time, I probably would.
Right. Okay, that sounds perfectly logical, in my opinion. Shall we take a quantum leap?
Serving Congleton, Sandbach, Alsager and your town. This is Beartown Radio.
It is indeed, and that was, of course, the opening theme music to Quantum Leap, a very popular American TV series back in the day, which starred Scott Bakula, was that his name? Bakula, as Dr. Sam Beckett, who was a quantum physicist lost in time following a failed time-travelling experiment, and he was running around righting wrongs, and it lasted for 5 seasons from 1989 to 1993, and it picked up so many awards such as the Golden Globe and a few Emmys as well. It was really quite something back in the day, and I understand it was one of your favourite programmes, wasn't it, Alex?
It certainly was, yes, still is.
Right.
I watch it with my daughter, Rosie.
Fantastic. And I'd just like to say, again, welcome everyone to the Box of Stuff with me, DC Wood, and my guest is none other than Alex Bell. Thank you very much for taking the time to chat with us this evening.
Thank you for inviting us on.
No problem. Now, obviously, tonight we're discussing the Open Space event in Congleton, which is the second Open Space event that we've had here in Congleton. We did the first one last year, and Alex is one of the event's organisers, and we've got much to discuss tonight. If you have any questions, any of our listeners out there, then please do get in touch with us, and Linda will tell you how. Linda. Thank you very much, Linda. As always, much appreciated. Again, our listeners can text us on 01260 633 601. You can email us at studio@beartownradio.com. You can tweet us at beartownradio, or you can visit our Facebook page at www.facebook.com/beartownradio. We wait to hear from you, our growly listeners. Now, Alex, you're on the organisation committee for Open Space. I think the listeners must know, how did the original idea come about 12 months ago?
Well, like every brilliant idea, it was brought about by alcohol. I was in a pub with several friends about 2 years ago. Sandy Marshall, John Lindley, Jane Harland, Dave Duff, I think was the original 5.
Yeah.
I was new to Congleton, and I've been blown away by how good Congleton is, how many creative opportunities there are in the town, how many creative things, just how many great venues there are in the town. And this sparked a discussion, and we decided that we should have some sort of festival to celebrate this. It originally started as one night, but a few more drinks later, it was 2 nights, and I think if we drank any more, we probably would have lasted a week. So I think we've got it about right, I think, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Brilliant. Well, there's certainly many places in Congleton to do that, just to have a great drink and to discuss, and use it to discuss creative arts and things like that. I mean, obviously, John, he's hosted special Poems and Pints events in the past. I mean, obviously, the open mic night at DeLacy's Tapas Bar in Congleton is a great place to go to, and just to read out your own stuff and have a good time as well. And of course, there's the Electric Picture House as well. There's been Poems and Pints events at the Beartown Tap over the years. You're right, Congleton is a really wonderful creative place. And there's so many great things to for there's so many talents in here for people to show to the world and have a good time whilst doing it. Now, obviously, last year's events has been well documented and promoted. We did it on the old Curtain Call show last year. How different would you say this year's event is to last year's?
Different's an interesting word. What we're trying to do is get as much diversity into the event. So by default, that is going to make it different. But we don't drive the events. We coordinate the event. So if somebody wanted to get in touch and said they wanted to, I don't know, decorate paper cups, then by all means join in the festival and decorate your paper cups. People come to us with their ideas of what they want to put on, and we just bring it together. And the beauty about it is, just looking at the festival menu, how diverse the talent and creativity is in the town. So that's what blows you away. Blew us away last year, certainly.
Certainly true. And I do remember, well, I was involved in the open space last year. Becky Morley, my friend and former co-host of the old Curtain Call show, she was heavily involved in the show as well, doing things like musical moments and Spotlight Glee Club, things like that. So encouraging the dancing on the day itself. Yeah. And obviously there was the Geared Up event, which I was part of, dressed up in fancy dress and as part of the steampunk role-playing game. Now, obviously, it was a tremendous success, and it was recapped in the video in the report on YouTube that's available. We'll be putting up a link to that video on our Facebook page, so people who are listening who don't know what open space is all about, people can get a feel for the flavour of what last year's event was like. And there's so many, so many musical, so many artists, so many musicians, so many organisations who were involved in open space last year. Daneside Theatre, De Lacey's Tapas Bar, obviously the Electric Picture House were involved. Trinity Methodist Church, were they involved last year? How many of them have come back for this time around? Is it all of them?
All of them, pretty much. All of them and more.
Wow.
We've got one of the sort of surprise venues, which it seems to be a secret in Congleton, but the Bathhouse. I'm not sure how many people know the Bathhouse exists, and if so, where it is. We have an event there on the Friday the 26th, which is called The Whore in the Madhouse. Yeah. It was originally a monologue, but it's been turned into a sort of play starring Betty Smith, Sandy Marshall and Dee Amelia. Wow. That's I've got a description of the Bathhouse because it's the best way. This is how they describe it. Yeah. The Bathhouse is a small brick building, partially hidden by trees and bushes, on a roughly triangular plot of land between Lowton Street and Coal Hill Bank. And I don't know if that makes it clear to people where it is, because I hope we get a good turnout there. Yep. And Lion and Swan are involved this time. They've got a big involvement. Fantastic. Matlock Lion and Swan has been incredibly supportive towards the festival. Great. Bojangles, Mossley Primary School. It just goes on. Well, everyone's really coming together, and that's the thing I loved about last year's open space was that it really generated such community spirit in Congleton. I like to think that Congleton's always had a great community spirit to it, but it just goes to show how important it can be in a town, just bringing people together in happiness and having a really good, fun time, and also encouraging people to explore their own talents as well, like fancy dress and painting and having games, and also getting up and performing poetry they've written, and obviously some of the guys at the Electric Picture House will be encouraging that. I think was it Mick Burgess last year who had the great big art board going, running that and encouraging children to just get a paintbrush and go crazy. Yeah, that was Mick. Yeah. Another supporter of the festival. Yeah, and Mick's a great guy. I mean, we had him on the start of on the very first show. Well, I think it was actually the second show of this year, to discuss the Electric Picture House, because that's a great venue. It really is. But it has so many great concerts and galleries there, and of course, John Lindley's doing the What's It, isn't he? The poetry marathon at De Lacey's Tapas Bar as well, and that was raising money for charity as well, because it was I think it generated over £150 for the UNICEF charity last year, and it's nothing but positives all over. Of course, yeah. I think when you look at the it's something that we are repeating this time as well. The poetry marathon is on Saturday 27th at De Lacey's again. That's 10 till 5. Yep. And as you say, we raised £150, £160 last year, and that was all due to anybody wants to read a poem or sing a song, they pay 50p. So there's a lot of 50p's there, so a lot of people took part in that. Fantastic. And I think John Lindy's also got an event on the Sunday. Yep. Talking Bob Dylan, which is 2:30 to 4:30 at the Beartown Tap, which promises to be a really good event as well. He's very knowledgeable about Dylan.
Well, he certainly is. I mean, he came back to the studio several weeks back to discuss the centenary of Dylan Thomas's birth, and obviously the nation itself has been celebrating Dylan Thomas's birth in his life and what he accomplished as well. So there's something for everyone this festival.
The John Lilly, the talking Bob Dylan.
Oh, Bob Dylan, right? Dylan, not Dylan Thomas, right? Bob Dylan. Well,
but his latest book was about Dylan Thomas as well. So
right, yeah.
It's an easy mistake to make.
Well, it's another legendary Dylan worth talking about and celebrating. Exactly. Where can people pick up the programme for Open Space from?
Well, every Saturday morning up until the festival, we're in town giving out programmes, which you supported us with. Last week, I think it was.
Last 2 weeks.
We're always there. I think you get them from the. There's some in the Young Pretender. There's some in the Tourist Information
Centre. Is there any in Congleton Library at all?
Yeah, there will be. I think. Yeah. I'm fairly sure we'll put them there. We'll put them everywhere. I think there's probably very few. Certainly every venue with alcohol in probably has them. That's for sure. I think, but they're everywhere. And if anybody wants one, please get in touch with the show, and we'll send them out one out if they need to. Absolutely. And we do have some programmes at our own Beartown Radio studio. So feel free to come along and ask us about that. We'll be happy to help. Shall we have a song? Sounds good to me. Right, okay, we've got a choice here, mate. We've got The Rain King by The Counting Crows. We've also got Tucker's Town by Hootie and the Blowfish. And, of course, we've got Vincent Black Lightning by Richard Thompson. So what do you fancy? Why not Vincent Black Lightning? Very upbeat song. Okay, then. Even though he dies at the end. Oh, dear. Well... At least he went out with a flash and a bang. He certainly did. Fantastic. Right, okay, don't go away, everyone. We'll be back with Alex in just a few moments. And for meanwhile, Richard Thompson, why don't you take us away, please?
You're listening to Beartown Radio. We're listening to you. All-time hits from Beartown Radio, streaming to you at home, at work, and on your smartphone.
What a mystery!
You're right, Scoob. We're dealing with one sick son of a...
Beartown Radio.
It is awesome, that. Well, Family Guy itself is just utter genius. It really, really is. But I do remember that was incidentally the first episode I saw of Family Guy, where they did the Scooby-Doo murder files, and I thought, oh my word, Frank Welker himself is actually reprising the role of Freddy. Just fantastic. It must be difficult to find a bit you could play on the radio. Well, yes, of course, but hey-ho, it's the box of stuff, and you never know what you're going to get inside when you open the box. Welcome back, everyone, to the box of stuff with me, DC Wood, and of course my guest Alex Bell, discussing open space. And wow, we've got so many people tuning in tonight. Thank you all so very much for tuning in to listen in to hear us go on about open space. And Will and Alex, I understand you've got something else to plug about the event, Clontra Opera, yes? Yeah, Clontra Opera. They're one of the sort of the gems of Congleton, really. It's again one of those places I don't know if anybody even knows where it is, or certainly it seems to be sort of hidden gem, but it's just near Swettenham Arms, and it's a fantastic venue, and they're celebrating the 40th year. Mm-hmm. And Lee came to the festival last year, and he blew everybody away at the Trinity Church. Yeah. And we had couple of opera singers there, and just in sort of medley, just to taste the sort of what Clontra Opera sort of put on. And I compared it, and I was stunned by how good it was and the quality of the singing. I've been to a couple of shows there now, and they're all top quality stuff. And they're back again. So I'd like to thank Clontra for coming for that. They're back on Sunday. Yeah. It's 5:30 to 6:30 at the Trinity Church again. They've got Leanne Burkett, Lawrence Thackeray, accompanied by Martin Parks. They're doing what's the best way of putting it? They describe it as musical theatre, opera and jazz. Yeah. But Clontra Opera they're called Clontra Opera because that's how they originated, but it's Clontra Theatre by all intents and purposes. It sounds like a real winning combination. There's a great mix of everything here. This Clontar Opera.
Clontar sort of. I've been for a comedy night there. I've been for opera. I've been for folk. And they've got some great stuff coming up. They've got Sinatra jukebox. They've got Sinatra jukebox, a gospel choir, and an opera gala coming up in the next few months. And there are great people to have on site, and I'm really glad that they're part of the festival.
Fantastic. Thanks very much, Alex. And again, programmes can be found in various places in Congleton: the Tourist Information Centre, Congleton Library, the Young Pretender, and of course we'll be giving out programmes on the High Street every Saturday morning on Congleton until Open Space arrives. So be sure to check in. It's going to be absolutely fantastic.
All-time hits from Beartown Radio. Streaming radio, the future of radio. At home, at work, or on your mobile.
Paul on the web.
Beartown Radio.
Well, thanks very much, first of all, to Alex for your time tonight, and great discussion about open space. And to our listeners who are on Facebook, we've put up a link to the report of last year's open space event, so Congleton residents can know what to expect this time around. And Alex, what do you have to say in the time we've got left? What would you say to listeners out there to encourage them to check out open space this time around?
Well, I think the key thing about open space is when it's not-for-profit sort of organisation, we don't do anything for money, we don't do anything for ourselves. The whole point of the festival is to get everybody, the community, involved and getting them to do something. I mean, last year was great. We got people reading poetry for the first time. And that was amazing, somebody getting up there, putting the 50p in the bucket and saying, I've never read a poem in public before.
Oh, great.
That was great. We had people leaving after creating stuff and who've never done stuff like that before. And that's what it's all about. It's getting people who don't do something, doing something, and people who do something to have a chance to sort of showcase it.
Fantastic.
So it's for everybody out there. That's what it's all about.
Nothing but good has come out of open space. It was the case last year, and I reckon it's going to be the same again this year. Yeah. So, Alex, thank you very much for your time this evening. Much appreciated, and thank you for coming on the show tonight.
Thank you for supporting open space. Thank you for having me on.
No problem at all. And to close you off, to see you off as a magnificent swan song, do you fancy Hootie the Blowfish took us town?
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay then, don't go away everyone, we have more guests to discuss open space in just a few moments. Heather and Lynsey will be coming up in just a few moments. In the meantime, Hootie and the Blowfish with Took Us Town.
Serving Congleton, Sandbach, Alsager, and your town. This is Beartown Radio.
Has left me, and I can't feel another thing.
Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Poor Hootie and the Blowfish can't feel another thing. Oh dear. Heart goes out to those guys, really does. Anyway, just like to say a big thank you to Alex Bell, one of the organisers for this year's Open Space and last year's Open Space, for his time. Great insight into what promises to be yet another fantastic festival. And cheers very much for your time again, mate. Now, we have more guests, more participants in the Open Space studio. But before we get underway, I've got to ask Heather, Lynsey, do you fancy much in the way of dancing, getting on down right now? I'll take that as a yes, shall we? Okay, Bruce, over to you, mate.
All-time hits from Beartown Radio.
Yes, that was, of course, the theme music to Strictly Come Dancing. Why not? Well, it's random, and you never know what you're going to find in the box of stuff. Every week you open the box, every Tuesday night on Beartown Radio, you growly listeners of Congleton. And, of course, Now that I've frightened my guests, for which I apologise, I am joined now by Heather Watson and, of course, Lynsey Williams, who are also partaking in Open Space this year. They are involved in the dance event. So, first of all, guys, thank you so very much for taking the time to chat with us this evening. It's much appreciated.
Pleasure. Nice to be here.
Jolly good. Right, now, first of all, why don't you tell everyone... Oh dear. Why don't you tell us both, guys, about your role in this year's Open Space event, starting with you, Heather.
Well, I'm continuing my role from last year when I was very involved in the organisation and getting together of various events, but one of the events I'm involved with is the Arabic Dancing Night.
Oh, fantastic. When's that?
It's going to be on Friday the 26th of September at Mossley School. Should prove to be a fun evening with plenty of glittering costumes to see, various groups to appreciate, all local groups. So if anybody is interested in dancing, they can always get involved because there's, the groups are always open to new members. And they're very, very friendly.
Fantastic. And, of course, Lynsey, I presume you will also be involved in the same Arabic dancing, yes?
That's right. We had an event last year which took place at the Town Hall. It featured local dance groups and our local Arabic drumming, Arabic middle percussion group,
fantastic.
Which a lot of people don't know about yet.
Brilliant.
We're called the Sands of Time.
The Sands of Time.
We'll be performing along with the dance groups this year at this event at Mossley School on Boundary Lane. That's happening a week on Friday. It's quite close now, so we're busy rehearsing, practising away, getting our costumes finalised for the event.
Fantastic. So, obviously, I presume this is what you were doing at last year's Open Space, was it, or is this a first-time thing?
No, last year that we did the Town Hall event.
Oh, good.
And that went down so well. We got a lot of good feedback that people had really enjoyed it.
Oh, excellent.
It was the main opening event of the festival last year.
Yeah.
And so we've been asked to repeat the evening again.
It was very well attended, wasn't it? A lot of people made positive comments.
Brilliant.
Nice venue.
Fantastic.
We feature the dancing. We have a chance for people to join in themselves, and we supply a buffet as well with a taste of Arabian food.
Oh, great!
On the buffet.
So it's not just a really fun dancing night. It's exposing, it's introducing a wonderful culture as well to people, to Congleton residents.
Cultural diversity comes to Congleton.
Oh, fantastic!
That's what we like to do.
Absolutely brilliant.
We have 3 local dance groups. We have Dawn's group.
Yes.
Who specialise in cabaret style and a little bit of Bollywood.
Oh, wow.
A bit of a mixture, fusion crossover.
Brilliant. Yeah.
We also have Source of the Nile, which is a group based in Astbury. Rehearse there. They've been practising for 6 or 7 years now.
Yeah.
And then we have Sahara, Feast Sahara.
Wow.
Which is Heather's group. Perhaps you'd like to translate that.
Yeah.
Not necessarily. But ours is a cooperative group, so we don't have a leader as such. We all chip in when it comes to choreography and develop our own dances. And all these groups, I think you'll find, don't necessarily use traditional Arabic dancing, though we do that, but we also put dance to modern pop songs.
All right. So it's all.
We'll recognise some of the music that the dances are put to.
Right. So it's all experimenting, exchanging ideas, and coming up with new ideas of how to really inspire people and entertain them as well. It sounds absolutely brilliant. Particularly all these groups you've mentioned, Lynsey, like the Sands of Time and all the. Source of an Eye, yes. Do we have any? Do these any of these groups have any website addresses or Facebook pages that people can check out?
I think Dawn's group does. Shimmy-tastic, I think hers.
Shimmy-tastic, right.
Yes. She teaches at Shaftesbury Dance Studio down at West Heath.
Brilliant.
The percussion group, by the way, started out as part of Congleton U3A.
Yeah.
Which is has a massive membership these days. It's over 1,500.
1,500?
It's massive for a small town like Congleton.
Fantastic.
It shows how fast we're growing.
Wow.
And it specialises in Middle Eastern particularly rather than, say, African drumming.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit more niche, a little bit more specialist, and it's just a nice sort of change, brings a little bit of cultural diversity. But at
the same time, it sounds like a really successful thing. I mean, wow, 1,500 members in this group.
The U3A, the percussion group started as part of that, and they meet on a Monday afternoon as part of U3A at St John's Ambulance Hut, and that's grown from just a few members to about 8 or 9 regulars that perform at local events. We performed recently at Eton Garden Party, and quite a lot of local charitable events we put on, as well as a large world music event that I put on myself in Asprey.
Wow.
In the autumn.
Brilliant.
That'll be happening later on in the year.
It sounds tremendous fun. It really, really does. So, what was it about the idea of what was it about open space that made you want to both become a part of it?
Well, it's helping to bring any creative talent in Congleton together. It's all about anybody who does anything creative getting a chance to showcase it, really, and therefore giving people a chance to see what is available to do in Congleton. I think a lot of people last year came to events at the open space and found out that they could actually join in some of these events, and we did get interest in the dancing, and it means people can join things that they didn't necessarily know about.
Wow.
That's why we've called the event this year, we've called it A Glimpse of the Orient, just to give people a little taste.
Oh, superb.
To whet their appetite.
I like the sound of that, A Glimpse of the Orient, the sands of time. Oh, so many different wonderful cultures being introduced. It sounds all the more fun and exciting, and we definitely can't wait. And don't forget, everyone, those who are listening, I mean, for those who are on Facebook, Congleton has there is a Open Space Congleton Creates Facebook page that you can check out. We've just put up a link to the Open Space report of 2013, last year's festival, so check that out. And of course, programmes can be picked up at De Lacey's, the Young Pretender, the Tourist Information Centre, Congleton Library. So a lot of stuff to check out for, a lot of stuff to look forward to this year. So check it out, and don't go away, everyone. We'll be back again in just a few moments.
All-time hits from Beartown Radio, streaming radio, the future of radio. At home, at work, or on your mobile.
Congleton, Sandbach, Alsager. This is Beartown Radio.
It certainly is Beartown Radio, you growly listeners, and this is, of course, The Box of Stuff with me, DC Wood. And what you heard just then, after we came back from the break, was, of course, I've Had the Time of My Life by Bill Medley and Jennifer... I've forgotten. Warnes. Yes, thank you very much, guys. Right, dear, and of course that song was most famous for being in Dirty Dancing. Right, and Kay, but the dancing we're talking about as part of Open Space is of the most clean variety, I assure you. And of course, my guests at this time, Heather Watson and Lynsey Williams, are discussing more about their role in the Open Space event. Now, sorry guys, what was the dancing event at what was it called again?
It's A Glimpse of the Orient.
Glimpse of the Orient. I apologise. Yes, Glimpse of the Orient. And tell the listeners again when it's taking place.
It's going to be on Friday, the 26th of September, at Mossley School in Boundary Lane.
Superb.
And it'll be doors open at 7. For a 7:30 start. Tickets are £10 as we're supplying an Arabic buffet.
Ooh, great!
As well as the talent.
Well, of course.
If anybody wants to bring a child who can be well behaved and sit through the evening, we will be selling tickets for them for £5. There'll be a little competition that people can get up and enter if they're that way inclined, which prizes will be given out for. And there will be an opportunity to have a go at the Arabic dancing later.
Fantastic.
Seen how it's done.
Superb.
Some absolutely gorgeous people lined up for that, so don't miss that.
Arabic dancers. Any magic carpets, perchance?
Well, we've got a few camel rugs.
That'll do for me. And where can people pick up tickets for this, may I ask?
Well, very kindly, the Lion and Swan is acting as a ticket hub for the Open Space Festival. So our tickets are available there. We have been in the town centre on Saturday morning. Some people may have seen us handing out programmes. And we will be in the town centre again this Saturday morning.
Superb.
So if they wish to approach anybody there for a ticket...
We don't bite, honestly.
Yeah, exactly.
Indeed. Fantastic. And of course, this was the second time you've done this. So how was it? What was last year's event like for you guys?
Well, last year's event featured the four main groups in this area, dance groups, one of which is a Turkish specialist.
Yes.
And Inhana, or as we know her, Marine Ann, she'll be appearing as a solo guest dancer.
Superb.
She's going to be performing along with the drummers. But we have three quite distinct groups, really. We've got Sahara Fi Sahara. They do a lot of traditional cabaret style to a lot of Egyptian music.
Oh, nice.
We've got a couple of more popular, lively, upbeat numbers up their sleeve as well, which we're keeping towards the end of the evening.
Brilliant.
There'll also be a finale piece, which is Moroccan folk dance.
Oh, nice.
Very, very short and very sweet.
Yeah.
And we're going to be inviting members of the audience to get up and wave their napkins about joyously to that.
Mexican wave and
Moroccan wave.
Fair enough. Yeah, Moroccan wave and, of course, breakout and high-step and dance. I must say they found their dancing enhancing, for they also joined in the fray. Like that, yeah? Jolly good.
Nothing like that.
Oh, right.
But,
sorry.
The other thing to appreciate, of course, when you come along to Arabic dancing is there will be plenty of glittery costumes to admire.
Not to mention the fantastic new stage props we've had specially made.
Oh, superb.
So there'll be all sorts of...
So a lot of time and effort has been put into the production and the presentation aspect of all this as well.
That's one of the choreographies from my group. We've been actually working on that for about 12 or 13 months just to get it perfect.
Wow.
For this coming week on Friday. We're doing one dance which is actually set inside an Egyptian tomb. And unsurprisingly, we've entitled it A Tomb with a View.
Ooh, superb. Sounds like a view to a kill.
Anubis and our very own pharaoh. And,
wow.
That's taking part in that.
Well, that's one of the most fantastic things about this is really... appealing to me. I mean, every time I tune in, watch a television program and seeing people visit abroad, visiting all these different festivals in different countries and all these different cultures, and you see these parades or dancing or Arabic dancing, you're not just seeing these superbly elegant moves. You're also seeing all these glamorous costumes, all the fantastic lights, the fireworks, and of course the theatrical aspect as well, which is really another component of open space that I personally think loads of people will really warm to this time around, as they did last year.
That's the nice thing about dance in particular, because it appeals to the ear with the music. It appeals to the soul with the rhythm.
Yep.
There's lots for keeping the eye happy. Plenty of eye candy and lovely costumes and stage props.
Indeed.
But on top of that, dance is fantastic because it's part of a healthy living regime, really. You can have lots and lots of fun whilst keeping in shape.
Well, it's all good exercise, certainly.
That's right.
Definitely. Right, okay. Are you guys up for another song at all?
Of course.
Yes.
You said yes. I was hoping you'd say yes. That means you are up. That means, Lynsey, you agree that you agree with Mary Clayton. So, Mary Clayton, you say yes, don't you? Don't you, Mary? I know you say yes, Mary.
All-time hits from Beartown Radio. You're listening to Beartown Radio. We're listening to you.
Yes, that was, of course, Mary Clayton with Yes, another song from Dirty Dancing. And, of course, it's been another great show tonight on the Box of Stuff. So many people have tuned in tonight's show to listen about open space and hear our discussions of this year's festival. Thank you all so very much for listening to tonight's show. It's 5 to 8 now, so in the few minutes we've got left, Heather, Lynsey, thank you so very much, both of you, for taking the time to chat with us this evening. And again, what stuff do you have to say to our listeners out there in the time we've got left?
Well, we'd love you to come along to A Glimpse of the Orient on Friday the 26th at Mossley School. Tickets available at the Lion and Swan for £10. And remember, you can bring your own drinks.
Oh, yes.
Yes. So the £10 just for the food, and you'll have a lovely evening, fantastic evening, really enjoy it.
Everyone's really worked hard, so it should be a really good night. I'm looking forward to it now.
Well, I certainly am as well. I mean, I think everyone involved in open spaces, and I think the people of Congleton will love it, this year's event, just as much as they did last year. So again, be sure to come along to Congleton, check out all the variety of different events, and of course people can pick up programmes for full details again as to what's going on in Congleton throughout places like the Electric Picture House, like the Lion and Swan, like the Beartown Tap, like Daneside Theatre, like Trinity Methodist Church. All these leaflets, these brochures, these programmes can be picked up at at the museum, Congleton Museum, at the Tourist Information Centre, at the Young Pretender, at De Lacey's Tapas Bar, at Congleton Library, and of course we will be giving out leaflets on Saturday, every Saturday morning in Congleton High Street. So come along and you'll bump into us, and you'll be able to get a programme. So stuff to look forward to. Now, of course, to close tonight's show off, we've got a little taster of what people can expect from Heather and Lynsey's night by the Orient. So why don't you introduce the honour of introducing this particular song is yours, I think, guys.
One of my favourites. This is Shakira, which everyone will know. This is Gypsy, and don't forget, if you want to see some barefoot, scantily clad ladies, you know where to come.
Nudge, nudge, wink, wink, say no more. Right, okay, Heather, Lynsey, thank you so very much for your time, guys. And, of course, thanks very much to Alex Bell at the start of the show for his time as well. And now, Shakira, over to you. See you next week, everyone. Bye-bye.
All-time hits from Beartown Radio.